Hello and welcome to the program. Over the next few minutes, we'll take you from the United States and around the world, covering all the top stories of the day. But before that, here's a look at the latest headlines. Former President Jimmy Carter passes away at his home in Plains, Georgia, at the age of 100. The Nobel laureate made history in October by becoming the longest living former U.S. president in history. Mexican authorities find more than 15 bodies in hidden graves near the Guatemalan border in the southern state of Chiapas. Officials also arrest 4 suspects and seize weapons and drugs during the operation. Azerbaijan's president accuses Russia of shooting at a plane that crashed in Kazakhstan last week, killing several. On Saturday, Vladimir Putin apologized for the accident, but stopped short of admitting that it might have been hit by Russian fire. Taiwan detects more than 20 Chinese military aircraft and 6 naval vessels around its territory. The island's defense ministry says 16 Chinese aircraft crossed the median line entering Taiwan's airspace. And at least 70 people die in a road accident in Ethiopia after a truck plunges into a river. According to local media, the truck was overloaded and carrying many passengers returning from a wedding ceremony. We begin in the Middle East, where the Israeli military launched multiple raids in northern Gaza over the weekend, calling them one of the largest operations in the territory. On Sunday, Israeli forces carried out attacks on 2 hospitals, including the Al-Wafa hospital in Gaza City, where it killed 7 people. Israel said the hospital was serving as a Hamas command and control center. However, it did not provide any evidence for the claim.
The Israeli occupation targeted Al-Wafa Medical Hospital in Gaza City. The crews dealt with and recovered 7 of the martyrs and many of the wounded, who arrived at Al Ali Hospital due to their presence next to the hospital that houses tents for the displaced and displaced persons inside it.
Meanwhile, 9 people were killed and 15 others were wounded after an Israeli airstrike hit a refugee camp in central Gaza. In a separate incident, Israeli Defense Forces attacked a home in Beit Hanun city in northern Gaza, killing 7 people. An evacuation order was also issued for all remaining civilians in the city, causing a new wave of displacement. Israel's offensive began on Friday when it torched large parts of Kamal Adwan Hospital, the last major functioning health facility in northern Gaza. Israeli troops forcefully evacuated the hospital and killed around 50 people, including medical staff. Now, according to the World Health Organization, 15 critically ill patients, 20 health workers, and 50 caregivers were shifted to a nearby Indonesian hospital.
We've managed to reach Jabalia today in the north of Gaza together with WHO and WFP. WHO is bringing supplies to Indonesian hospital. It is not functioning as a hospital. All around us, fighting is ongoing. We've been trying to reach the north of Gaza 140 times in the last 2 months. Every time has been denied. People here have no food, no water, no sanitation, nothing. Yesterday, Kamal Adwan came under attack. People were brought to an Indonesian hospital where it is not a functioning hospital.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military said it raided the hospital because it was being used as a Hamas terror stronghold. Israel detained around 240 people from the facility, including the director of the hospital, who eyewitnesses said was beaten and dragged by his clothes. Patients also alleged that they were assaulted and forced to strip down on the streets by Israeli soldiers.
We have listened to the patients here who have been evacuated from a hospital to another, telling us how hard was it on them to leave the Kamal Adwan hospital and come to Indonesian hospital. And they are fearing that this would push them to Gaza City or to the south. They wanted to stay because their family is still here. Their relatives are still here. People are still here. And we should have access to reach those people. We should be able to come and assess the situation here. We should be able to deliver food and supplies. We should be able to rehabilitate hospitals and support healthcare system.
Analysts say Israel's efforts are aimed at depopulating a third of the Palestinian territory by disrupting healthcare and humanitarian aid. However, Israel, which has been focusing on northern Gaza since October, claims it only wants to prevent Hamas from regrouping in the territory. And here in the United States, President-elect Donald Trump's luxurious Mar-a-Lago estate has become a magnet for power players as the Republican prepares to assume office on January 20th. And the latest intrigue revolves around Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, who reportedly requested a meeting with Donald Trump as revealed in the Truth Social post. Donald Trump's message, seemingly directed at Tesla CEO Elon Musk, read, and I quote, "Where are you? When are you coming to the center of the universe?" End quote. Bill Gates, who has been a vocal critic of Donald Trump in the past, particularly over his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, has recently taken a U-turn, congratulating the president-elect on his election victory and expressing hope for collaboration. Several reports also mention that Gates contacted Donald Trump's transition team to discuss a potential meeting. Now, while the exact agenda remains unclear, the outreach by the billionaire signals a clear shift in tone as tech leaders navigate the political tides under a Republican administration.
One of the big differences between the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. I don't know. My personality changed or something. But I had, as you know, I had Sundar from Google, but I also had Sergey. Nobody reported that. The top executives, the top bankers, they're all calling. And honestly, in the first time, I don't know what it was. In the first one, and the press has covered that fairly, actually, for change.
This latest development comes as Donald Trump continues to engage with industry heavyweights at Mar-a-Lago in the lead up to his official swearing in. Now, since stepping away from the day-to-day operations of Microsoft, Gates has focused much of his attention on confronting global health challenges through his philanthropic work. And as the number of bird flu cases rise, as evidenced by the state of emergency in California recently, Gates is perhaps hoping to shape the incoming administration's agenda as it stares down another potential health crisis. And as the clock ticks towards Donald Trump's inauguration, the flurry of high-profile meetings at Mar-a-Lago underscores the stakes for both tech leaders and the incoming administration. And with Bill Gates now in the mix, one can only wonder, can the billionaire rebuild burnt bridges by meeting with Donald Trump? And staying with the United States, reports say that President Joe Biden regrets dropping out of the race as he believes he could have actually beaten Donald Trump for a second time. Now, according to the Washington Post, the outgoing president has also acknowledged in private that he screwed up the presidential debate against Trump in June. Biden was unable to answer basic questions and at many times struggled to even identify the names of those closest to him. Less than a month later, the Democratic Party urged the 82-year-old to step aside, making way for Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him. However, his belated decision to endorse Kamala Harris gave the vice president only 3 months to build a campaign against Donald Trump, resulting in the Republicans sweeping all swing states and winning the popular vote. Now, reports say President Biden has been careful not to blame his VP, but he believes the results would have been different if he'd stood his ground. Meanwhile, supporters of Kamala Harris have time and again blamed the commander-in-chief for waiting too long to drop out, eventually weakening the vice president campaign.
Biden ran on the promise that he was going to be a transitional president and, in effect, have one term before handing it off to another generation. I think his running again broke that concept, the conceptual underpinning of the theory that he would end the Trump appeal. He would defeat Trumpism and enable a new era.
The Washington Post also reports that President Biden told his aides that choosing Merrick Garland as his attorney general was a mistake. The president thinks Garland was slow to prosecute Donald Trump for his role in the 2021 Capitol riots. Meanwhile, the Justice Department aggressively prosecuted his son, Hunter Biden, whom he pardoned, breaking a promise not to do so weeks before leaving office.
Okay. I'm saying, asking for yourself, not the presidency, but for yourself. Do you feel like you are owed an apology by the president? Do you owe an apology to the American people?
I know what I said. I know what the president said. That is where we were at the time. That is where the president was at the time. I am his spokesperson. This weekend, he thought about it. He wrestled with it. He wrestled with it and made this decision. That's what I can tell the American people.
Why should they have any confidence in anything else?
I think the American people understand, and I think they understand how difficult this decision would be.
Now, it's been said that President Biden was persuaded by his former chief of staff, Ron Klain, to pick Garland, a decision that didn't do him any favors. In fact, the pace of the investigation led to the appointment of special counsel Jack Smith, who just last month dismissed 2 federal criminal cases against Donald Trump in the wake of his victory. Air travel is a testament to human ingenuity, offering safety and speed unmatched by any other mode of transportation. Yet when tragedy strikes, like the recent Jeju Air crash in South Korea, it shakes the confidence of even the most seasoned travelers. For decades, Boeing jets, particularly the 737s, have been the backbone of global aviation. But as headlines spotlight rare and catastrophic failures, a question lingers. Is the Boeing 737 still the safest choice in the skies?
Air travel promises speed, convenience, and unparalleled safety. But when the unthinkable happens, like the Jeju Air crash, it forces us to pause. On a quiet Sunday, Flight 7C2216's descent into South Korea's Muan International Airport ended in flames. Of the 181 passengers, only 2 survived. A bird strike warning, a landing gear malfunction, and a mayday call preceded the fiery belly landing, leaving investigators to question if Boeing jets are still the trusted workhorses of the skies.
Much has been said about Boeing's culture. We've heard those concerns loud and clear. Our culture is far from perfect, but we are taking action and we are making progress. We understand the gravity, and we're committed to moving forward with transparency and accountability while elevating employee engagement every step of the way.
Boeing's collapse started to appear after the 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019, which were linked to a faulty stabilization system. Now, even though Boeing responded with upgrades like software fixes, stricter pilot training, and improved oversight, since its reintroduction, the 737 MAX has not flown without an incident.
Boeing hasn't stopped doing its bad behavior. They have a culture of concealment. It goes over many years. It came from the top, from the CEO, from the boardroom, to save money and to conceal the problems of the MAX throughout the 6-year development of the MAX 8 and 9.
On January 5, 2024, Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 was on its way from Portland, Oregon to Ontario, California, when part of its fuselage, which is the aircraft's main body, blew out minutes after takeoff. A door plug, a panel fitted in place of an unused emergency exit, fell from the plane, and the opening caused a rapid loss of cabin pressure that tore the cockpit door open. Even though the pilots were forced to make an emergency landing, fortunately, none of the 171 passengers or 6 crew were seriously injured. Since the incident, the FAA carried out inspections on 40 of the grounded Boeing planes. But there are airlines who currently function with the faulty Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes as part of their fleet. United Airlines, with 79 Boeing jets, tops the list, followed by Alaska Airlines with at least 65 Boeing aircraft. Panama-based Copa Airlines have at least 29 jets in their fleet, followed by Aeromexico with 19. Turkish Airlines and Kazakh Civil Airlines SCAT have at least 5 Boeing jets in their fleet, and Icelandair, Lion Air and Fly Dubai with 4 and 3 jets respectively. Statistically, air travel remains the safest form of transportation. The odds of dying in a plane crash are astronomically low compared to car travel. But passengers often wonder, is where you sit on a plane a matter of life and death? Well, data tells an intriguing story. Studies of past crashes reveal that the rear of the plane often sees the highest survival rates. Even during the Jeju airplane crash, several visuals showed the rear of the aircraft was absolutely intact. And here physics plays a role. The nose absorbs the impact in frontal accidents, while the tail can detach, preserving lives. A study by the Aviation Safety Network analysed the middle seat in the back of the plane was found to be the safest, with a fatality rate of 28%, compared to seats further forward, which had a fatality rate of 44%. Seats in the back of the cabin had the lowest mortality rate at 32%. Yet not all plane crashes play by the same rules. Being close to an emergency exit can matter even more than sitting in the back, because the faster you can get out, the better your odds in fires or water landings. This makes middle section seats near exits a smart choice despite their proximity to the plane's fuel tanks. Because of the recent tragedies, the fundamental trust in air travel is juxtaposed with a fundamental mistrust of Boeing. Even though Boeing CEOs emphasize that their jets are among the safest machines ever built, passengers remain skeptical, and more travelers have begun using the phrase, "If it's a Boeing, then I'm not going."
And in our final story, we head to Walmart. America's largest retailer has disrupted the luxury fashion world with its viral Wirkin bag, a budget-friendly lookalike of Hermès' iconic Birkin bag. Priced under just $100, the lookalike Hermès has become a social media sensation and is already sold out. While a Birkin bag may cost thousands of dollars, Walmart's accessible alternative has earned a cult following. However, this has sparked a debate between people celebrating affordability and luxury manufacturers decrying plagiarism. Here are all the details.
In a world where Hermès' coveted Birkin bag reigns supreme as the ultimate handbag status symbol, a surprising contender has emerged from an unexpected source: Walmart. Yes, the land of bulk toilet paper and bargain electronics is now the epicenter of a fashion revolution. Move over Hermès, there's a new player in town, and it's called the Wirkin. For those unfamiliar with the Birkin's mythical status, it's the Rolls-Royce of handbags, with prices starting at a mere $9,000 and soaring into six figures on the resale market. But fear not, bag lover. Walmart has introduced a budget-friendly doppelganger for under $100. Dubbed the Walmart Birkin by the internet's finest fashion sleuth, this lookalike has sent internet users and bargain hunters into a frenzy. Cheekily named Walmès by fans, Walmart has unintentionally become the hotspot for aspiring luxury lovers on a budget. Their star attraction, the Camugo genuine leather handbag, a Birkin-inspired tote available for the shockingly un-Hermès price of $78 to $102. But don't get too excited. This viral sensation has already sold out. If you missed your chance, you'll have to channel your inner Carrie Bradshaw and refresh Walmart's website like it's your new part-time job. For those who can't wait, Walmart's got backup options as well. But if you need it now, then the resale market should be your go-to. Resellers are offering the dupe for slightly marked up prices. Who knew that chasing a discount designer look would be the Hunger Games of the handbag world? The Wirkin bag has sparked a heated debate across the fashion universe. On one side, you have the pro-dupe crowd celebrating the downfall of an unattainable luxury status symbol. Luxury purists are clutching their pearls and their authentic Birkins in horror. Hermès loyalists argue that the Birkin isn't just a bag, it's an heirloom, one that's meticulously hand-stitched in France by artisans with years of training. For them, carrying a dupe is like wearing fake Chanel earrings from a flea market. An unforgivable fashion faux pas. While the Wirkin avoids Hermès' iconic H logo and trademark branding, some third-party sellers on Walmart's marketplace are playing fast and loose with the rules. Listings that directly use the terms Hermès or Birkin might land these sellers in hot water. But until Hermès decides to drop its legal hammer, the Walmart Birkin remains the unofficial it bag of 2024. Whether you're a diehard luxury loyalist or a frugal fashionista, there's no denying the Wirkin has changed the game. Love it or hate it, Walmart's budget-friendly bag is giving the fashion elite a run for their money. Who needs a waiting list and a six-figure price tag when you can snag a convincing dupe for less than a night out? As Hermès grapples with this handbag hijacking, one thing is clear. In the battle of Birkin versus Wirkin, Walmart is laughing all the way to checkout.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll look forward to seeing you right back here again tomorrow. Thanks again everyone for watching. Donald Trump's return to the Oval Office is imminent. He will soon take the oath of office and once again lead the nation.
God spared my life for a reason.
President-elect Donald Trump's first priority tackling illegal immigration and securing the nation's borders.
We're going to fix our borders.
The incoming administration has prioritized the Russia-Ukraine war. Can they succeed in ending one of the world's most challenging conflicts?
I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled.
And as he returns to the White House, will Donald Trump resume a bruising trade war with the world's second largest economy, China?
If China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs.
All of this and more right here on Firstpost America.